Hello and a very good evening. Welcome to Rajya Sabha Television. You're watching the news tonight with me, Frank Pereira. Here are the latest headlines. Lakshmikant Parsekar sworn in as Goa Chief Minister after Parikar quits. Speculation of rebellion in Goa BJP put to rest. Stage set for massive cabinet rejig tomorrow. Manohar Parikar and Mukhtar Abbas Naqvi among a sizable list of names likely to be inducted. Prime Minister Narendra Modi begins Ganga cleanup drive in Varanasi, tags personalities to carry forward his Swachh Bharat mission in Uttar Pradesh. And US to send 1,500 more non-combat troops to Iraq to take on Islamic State militants, nearly doubling American presence there. A top focus on the bulletin. Lakshmikant Parsekar was sworn in as the new Goa Chief Minister today. His name was unanimously elected as the successor to Manohar Parikar in the BJP Legislature Party meet. The decision comes after 2 days of hectic deliberations, which also saw rebellion by a section of the BJP legislators. Here's a detailed report.
The day began with Manohar Parikar stepping down from the Chief Minister's post of Goa. He then left for the party headquarters to attend a meeting of office bearers and legislators to finalize the name of his successor. The party faced a rebellion of sorts as Deputy Chief Minister Francis D'Souza claimed his stake for the job on ground of seniority.
Yeah, I am the senior most person here. I am senior most person. And if I feel that junior most person is made a senior person above me, then I feel I shouldn't be doing myself justice. So it is better that I stay outside the government.
So you won't be joining cabinet?
No, I wouldn't like to join the government.
However, later he seconded Manohar Parikar's proposal to support Parsekar for the top job. D'Souza was mollified by the party leadership.
It was a unanimous decision where the name of Mr. Lakshmikant Parsekar was proposed by Mr. Manohar Parikar, the outgoing Chief Minister of Goa. His name was proposed for Legislature Party leadership, and it was seconded by Mr. Francis D'Souza.
Parsekar was sworn in later in the evening at Raj Bhavan. He is the 12th person to hold the Chief Minister's post.
मी लक्ष्मीकांत पार्सेकर ईश्वर साक्ष शपथ घेतो की
A small cabinet was also sworn in along with him.
Thank you. I am very much happy to be unanimously elected to the post of Chief Minister of this state.
A teacher by profession, Parsekar succeeds Parikar, who will be inducted in the Union Cabinet on Sunday. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, the NDA government will expand its 45-member cabinet on Sunday. This will be the first reshuffle in the Modi cabinet since it took charge. More names came up today as possible new inductees. However, it's still not clear if Shiv Sena has agreed to the offer of 2 more cabinet berths amid its strained ties with the BJP in Maharashtra.
Countdown has begun for the first expansion and reshuffle of the Modi cabinet on Sunday. Prime Minister will host the new cabinet members in the morning before the swearing-in ceremony at the Rashtrapati Bhavan. Speculations continue over who will make the cut, but some of the names are certain. Around 10 new faces are expected to be inducted in the cabinet. One of them is Manohar Parikar, who stepped down as Goa's Chief Minister on Saturday. He is heavily touted to be the new Defence Minister. Names of BJP leaders like JP Nadda, Ramkripal Yadav, Giriraj Singh, Rajiv Pratap Rudy and Mukhtar Abbas Naqvi are also doing rounds. Olympian Rajyavardhan Rathod and singer Babul Supriyo are also likely to be inducted. LITDP will also get a cabinet berth. Party's Rajya Sabha MP YS Chaudhary is believed to have got the call.
Prime Minister asked me to recommend one name for central cabinet. Immediately I recommend one name. Now, Chaudhary MP from Rajya Sabha, we have recommended from our party side.
मैं आप ही के माध्यम से सुन रहा हूँ और मुझे प्रधानमंत्री सम्माननीय नरेंद्र मोदी जी के साथ में आज मैं सत्ता पक्ष में काम कर रहा हूँ। यही मुझे बहुत आनंद और गौरव की बात लगती है।
हमारा आशा है कल हमारा बंगाल का सांसद बाबुल सुप्रियो उनको शपथ ग्रहण अनुष्ठान में हम लोग शपथ लेते हुए देख पाएंगे और ये बंगाल का सारे लोगों के लिए खुशी का बात है।
But suspense continues if Shiv Sena will agree to 2 more cabinet posts. On Saturday evening, Sena leader Anand Gite met Prime Minister at his residence along with BJP chief Amit Shah. According to sources, Sena has demanded BJP to find a solution first to the crisis in ties between the parties in Maharashtra. It has given BJP time till tonight to take a final call. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And a day after Prime Minister Narendra Modi adopted a village in Varanasi under the MP Model Village scheme, he brought the Swachh Bharat and Clean Ganga campaign to his Lok Sabha constituency. And what better way to start than to set a personal example? Here's more.
15 minutes of prayers on the Ganga's banks and then setting in motion the cleanliness drive here. The top BJP team in the state was in attendance. At the Assi Ghat in Varanasi, the Prime Minister dug out silt deposited here by rains, cleaning the Ganges at a spot where reverence for the river touches its peak. Modi's Clean India campaign overlaps with his Clean Ganga mission.
आज ये 8 की सफाई का मैंने काम प्रारंभ किया है। यहाँ के सामाजिक संगठनों ने मुझे विश्वास दिलाया है कि 1 महीने के भीतर ये पूरा घाट वे साफ कर देंगे। मैं समझता हूं कि कई वर्षों के बाद ये अपने आप में एक बहुत ही अच्छी सौगात सफाई के माध्यम से होगी।
As he did at the start of his Swachh Bharat mission in Delhi, Modi tagged 9 prominent people, a team to spearhead the clean-up task in the state. The 9-member team includes UP Chief Minister Akhilesh Yadav, cricketers Suresh Raina and Mohammad Kaif, entertainment celebrities Manoj Tiwari, Kailash Kher and Raju Srivastav, Swami Ram Bhadracharya, Devi Prakash Dwivedi and Manu Sharma. The Prime Minister has returned to Delhi. Modi's 2-day visit to his home constituency has been all about sending out the right messages, of his meaning business on fulfillment of promises, adopting a village under the MP Model Village scheme, a package for weavers and a showcase kickstart to clean up the Ganga in Varanasi. For the electorate here, it's positives all around so far. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha Television.
The Prime Minister Narendra Modi there getting his hands dirty and setting an example all by himself. Moving on now, President Pranab Mukherjee concluded his 2-day Bhutan visit today. He has signed 3 MOUs in education apart from doubling scholarship to students from Bhutan. The neighbours have agreed to help India in reviving the historic Nalanda University. Bhutan's Prime Minister Tshering Togbe hoped his country's development cooperation with India will strengthen in the future.
Cooperation in education sector was key on President Pranab Mukherjee's agenda during his 2-day Bhutan visit. On Saturday, he announced centre's decision to double the scholarship amount to Bhutanese students.
I am pleased to announce that you have decided to enhance the value of the Indian Ambassador Scholarship Fund from current ₹1 crore per annum to ₹2 crore per annum.
The two countries signed 3 MOUs in education. One of the key deals is that Bhutan will help India in reviving the historic Nalanda University, which was recently reopened after 800 years.
Our two governments signed an agreement to establish the Nalanda University. A while ago, I called on President Pranab Mukherjee and we discussed a range of issues concerning our two countries.
By signing the MOU on the establishment of Nalanda University, Bhutan became the second country outside the East Asia Summit process to do so. Togbe expressed his satisfaction over India's cooperation with Bhutan in various fields.
New areas for cooperation is, I'll be very honest, difficult really to identify simply because the cooperation between our two countries has been so wholesome and extensive.
Pranab Mukherjee was the first Indian president to visit Bhutan after 26 years. His visit follows Prime Minister Narendra Modi's maiden overseas tour in June.
That you have decided.
Calling it the most memorable visit to the country, President hoped that Bhutan will contribute constructively in the upcoming SAARC summit in Kathmandu. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Let's now bring you up to date with the news-making stories from across the country in our segment Nationwide. West Bengal police today arrested the suspected mastermind of the Budhwan blast terror module from near the Kolkata airport. The accused Sajid is known to be a key member of the Bangladesh-based terror module. A PAN card and a voter ID card have been recovered from him. Sajid is the first suspected Bangladeshi national to be arrested in the case. He is believed to be a Central Committee member of Jamaat-ul-Mujahideen Bangladesh or JMB, which is banned in that country. Aam Aadmi Party members went on a day-long hunger strike in Chennai today in protest against the death sentence awarded to 5 fishermen by a court in Sri Lanka. 75 AAP members participated in the hunger strike as they raised slogans and demanded the government to take necessary steps to release arrested fishermen. At least 13 newborns have died at the state-run Malda Medical College and Hospital in West Bengal since Tuesday. All the children brought to the hospital were underweight and hospital authorities claim that the babies admitted were critical. Malda Hospital, which provides medical services to nearby districts, has been notorious for the deaths of newborns over the last several years. Well, it's time for a short break now, but much more lined up on the other side. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome back. You're watching Rajya Sabha television. US President Barack Obama has authorized the deployment of an additional 1,500 American troops to Iraq in the coming months, doubling the number of Americans meant to train and advise Iraqi and Kurdish forces. The trainers and advisors are to help Iraqis and Kurds as they plan a major offensive against Islamic State fighters. Here's a report. Barack Obama has authorized the doubling of US troop levels in Iraq for the war against Islamic State militants, further straining his pledge against boots on the ground. Obama ordered an additional 1,500 troops to Iraq on Friday to bolster the performance of Iraqi and Kurdish forces fighting ISIS in ground combat. The training, the Pentagon said, is expected to last the better part of a year, raising questions about when the Iraqis will be able to wrest territory away from ISIS.
The Commander-in-Chief has authorized Secretary of Defense Chuck Hagel to deploy to Iraq up to 1,500 additional U.S. personnel over the coming months in a non-combat role to expand our advise and assist mission and initiate a comprehensive training effort for Iraqi forces.
The U.S. administration expects coalition partners to send over 700 of their own troops to join the training and equipping of the Iraqi and Kurdish brigades.
Just in terms of contributions that we know we're going to secure from some other nations, we're talking well over 700 additional trainers will come from foreign governments and foreign partners.
To finance the expanded effort, the White House has asked the Congress for an additional $5.6 billion US, which will sustain operations like the airstrikes and associated logistics. The money includes $1.6 billion as a train and equip fund for Iraqi and Kurdish units to enable them to go on the offensive. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha Television. Moving on, now countries of Asia and the Pacific region have agreed to set up a network to share information on corruption. The agreement proposed by China was to deny safe haven to anyone engaged in corruption. APEC leaders are expected to back the deal at a summit in Beijing next week. It will also establish measures and systems to protect whistleblowers. It is also not clear how the agreement will work between countries that do not have bilateral extradition treaties. However, US Secretary of State John Kerry hailed the move as a major step forward.
We deepened our partnership with APEC economies on combating corruption. The principles that we adopted are clear and they are compelling. We are determined to prevent, detect, and effectively prosecute foreign bribery.
More international news now, fresh from her emphatic re-election. South Carolina's Governor Nikki Haley is set to visit India next week. During the 10-day visit starting on Tuesday, Haley would launch South Carolina's first trade and investment mission to India. Haley and her delegation are scheduled to have as many as 90 meetings in New Delhi, Hyderabad, Amritsar, Mumbai and Chennai. She will also be trying to position South Carolina as a top tourist destination. Meanwhile, China will contribute $40 billion to set up a Silk Road infrastructure fund to boost trade and connectivity across Asia. Chinese President Xi Jinping pledged the sum at a summit attended by leaders of neighboring countries, including Pakistan and Bangladesh. He held several bilateral meetings on Saturday seeking active cooperation for this project. He said that the goal of the fund is to break the connectivity bottleneck in Asia. He stressed China's plans to build the 21st century Silk Road economic belt and the maritime Silk Road besides Beijing's push for creation of the AIIB.
中国将出资400亿美元成立丝路基金，为“一带一路”沿线国家的基础设施、资源开发、产业合作和金融合作等与互联互通有关的项目提供投融资支持。
Here's a look now at the other noteworthy stories from across the globe in our segment Global Buzz. US President Barack Obama has chosen New York federal prosecutor Loretta Lynch to replace Eric Holder as the US Attorney General. If the Senate confirms her appointment, Lynch will be the first African-American woman to head the US Justice Department. Holder, who resigned from the post 6 weeks ago, was the first African-American to serve as Attorney General. British police have arrested 4 men on suspicion of terrorism as part of investigations into Islamist-related militancy. The men in their 20s were arrested in West London and Wycombe, a town to the west of the capital. They are now being questioned and searches are on at several places based on their testimony. The Mexico government has confirmed that 43 missing students abducted by police in southwest Mexico 6 weeks ago were incinerated by drug gang henchmen and their remains tipped in a garbage dump and a river. Attorney General Jesus Murillo said 3 detainees caught a week ago admitted to setting fire to a group of bodies in a dump near Iguala in the state of Guerrero, where the trainee teachers went missing on September 26th after clashing with local police. Officials probing the death of actor Robin Williams have confirmed that he was not under the influence of drugs or alcohol at the time of his suicide. A Marin County coroner's report released on Friday found that Williams died from asphyxia due to hanging. 63-year-old Williams was found dead in his California home on the 11th of August in what authorities soon ruled a suicide. Moving on now, winters are yet to settle in, but Delhi is already choking with pollution. A US Embassy study says air pollution levels in Delhi are at 4 times higher than normal, with the worst during morning hours when there is a visible haze. Doctors say a spike in breathing-related problems is common at this time of the year, but it's worse this time than ever before.
It's a story of dipping air quality in the national capital. Diwali fireworks every year take pollution to a new high, with levels toxic carbon monoxide, benzene and oxides of nitrogen and sulfur dioxide multiplying manifold. And an exponential rise in the number of vehicles adds to this menace. The city is now struggling to gauge the gains of CNG.
It is for this reason we have been warning the government each year, saying, please take steps, short-term measures, long-term measures, because we will lose the gains of CNG.
The aggravated bad air quality has alarmed the American Embassy in Delhi. It has put the air quality index value 260 in the category of very unhealthy. Doctors have advised people to avoid morning walk, travel later in the day when the haze lifts, wear face masks, avoid rush hour traffic.
This pollution affects cardiovascular and pulmonary system, primarily on the lungs, but through the lungs it can affect the heart. Patients who are hypertensive, they get breathless very often when there is a pollution in the air. People who do exercise, their exercise tolerance goes less because of the air pollution, and the quality of air gets deteriorated.
The National Green Tribunal has ordered all environment stakeholders to meet urgently and submit a report by November 19th. In May, the WHO had released a study of 1,600 cities and declared Delhi as the world's dirtiest air, with an annual average of 153 micrograms of small particulates per cubic meter.
Government has issued so many guidelines, they are not being enforced. It is as a question of matter of enforcement. Implementation must be our watchword.
The consistently increasing air pollution is a cause of serious concern for the government as well as the Delhiites. With the winter setting in, the haze-like conditions prevailing over Delhi and NCR is also adding to the menace. Now the important task is to make people aware of the various health risks related to the air pollution, and at the same time the challenge is to work upon improving the quality of the air. With camera person Amit, Smriti Rastogi for Rajya Sabha TV, Delhi.
Well, it's time for a short break now, but still ahead on the show, India beat Hockey World Champions Australia for the second consecutive game in a row. Stay tuned, we'll be right back. Welcome back, you're watching Rajya Sabha Television. Well, let's now bring you up to date with all the sporting action from around the world. Here's our latest sports beat. Five-time world champion Vishwanathan Anand is looking to avenge last year's World Chess Championship defeat as he plays Norway's Magnus Carlsen in Sochi, Russia. The first of 12 games is presently underway under the classical time-controlled rules. Anand had lost to Carlsen last year in Chennai. India's men's hockey team has beaten Australia 2-1 at Perth in the third test match of the four-match series. With this win, India takes a 2-1 lead in the series. India were led by Rupinder Pal Singh, who played his 100th international in the absence of regular captain Sardar Singh. The fourth and final test will be played tomorrow. Argentina coach Gerardo Martino has called up forward Carlos Tevez to play alongside Barcelona's Lionel Messi when the South Americans travel to the UK for two friendlies later this month. Argentina heads to England where they will face Croatia on November 12th, followed by Portugal on November 18th. Kenyan middle distance runner David Rudisha was named as the best male athlete of the 2012 London Olympics at the inaugural Association of National Olympic Committees Awards ceremony. The awards were held for the first time as an initiative to modernize the games. Officials hope that the awards will become the Oscars of the Olympics. That's it on this edition of the Bulletin. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good night.
Thank you.